Hello. From today, I'll be starting a new series where I'll be discussing individual chapters of the 10th standard textbook. For now, for this particular purpose, I have taken the 10th standard ICSE textbook, but these lectures can be referred by anyone who is in the 10th standard. They may be CBSE, ICSE, or they may be a regular state syllabus. These videos will be applicable for anyone who is in the 10th standard. I repeat that one. And these are specifically meant for those who could not go to the schools due to this current pandemic, and anyone who is staying at the home can take the benefit out of it. I'll be going chapter by chapter. I have already uploaded the chapters on periodic table and also chemical bonding. Today I'll be taking starting from electrolysis. I'll going part by part. I'll be discussing different parts. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, we'll begin. This particular chapter deals with the electrolysis. What is electrolysis? The name suggests electro and lysis. It is nothing but breaking up of something. We will see what is that something. It is the breaking up of something by passing electric current or electron flow. That is nothing but current. This is the word electrolysis can be split into. You can see here electro and lysis. That is passing the current and breaking it. So it is nothing but electrolysis. You are passing the current and breaking the chemical bonds and producing ions, and through which the current passes, or the current will be transmitted through that ions. So this is particular example of an electrolytic cell. We will be discussing this thoroughly in the future sections. Just to mention, it is an electrolytic cell, which is a non-conducting vessel through which electricity passes, and we have two electrodes. In a general structure of an electrolytic cell, we have an electrolytic cell, we have an electrolytic solution. We'll discuss everything. We'll discuss what are these in the future sections. Just to mention, we have an electrolytic cell, we have an electrolytic solution, we have two electrodes. One is a positive electrode and another is a negative electrode, and we have a battery which passes electricity or will generate electricity. So let's come into the fundamental definition. We'll see this electrolysis definition again. It is nothing but decomposition of a chemical compound or an electrolyte. As I mentioned, it is breaking down of a chemical compound either in the dissolved state. What is dissolved state? You take a chemical compound, put it to water or either solvent, it gets dissolved, broken into different ions. This is dissolved state. Another state is possible, which is also known as fused or molten state, which is nothing but when you heat a chemical compound, it becomes liquid. Then the ions will get freed and they can move here and there. Hence, in aqueous, also ions can be movable. In fused or molten, also ions can be movable. In such state, these compounds conduct electricity, or the passage of direct electric current to them will happen. This process is known as electrolysis. In a nutshell, electrolysis is breaking up or decomposition of compounds which allows them to conduct electricity. For example, when you take NaCl, put it into water, it will form Na plus and Cl minus ions through which the current passes. So we have two concepts important here, a cathode and an anode. What is a cathode and what is an anode? We know cations are nothing but an ion having a positive charge, and anion is nothing but an ion having a negative charge. Okay, so a cathode is a one. We have seen an image. This is a system of electrolytic cell, and we have an electrodes. In an electrolytic cell, we have two electrodes. An electrode having a positive charge, electrode having a negative charge. An electrode having a negative charge is called cathode, and an electron having a positive charge is called anode. As we have known, cations have positive charge, and it is only imperative that positive charged ions will move towards the negative end. Hence, cations move towards cathode. I think this concept is clear to you. Cations will move towards cathode because cathode is in negative charged end. When they move towards cathode, they will lose the electron. Cations they have already lost an electron and they are in the ionic form. That is positive ionic form. When they go towards cathode is rich in electron because it's a negative electron. These cations gain the electron and they become neutral atoms, and hence we call this as a reduction reaction. I'll repeat, at the cathode, which is a negative electrode, a cation moves towards the cathode. A cation is already lost an electron, but when it goes towards cathode, it gains the electron from the cathode and becomes a neutral atom. Same way, at anode, a negative ion moves. What is a negative ion? It's an anion. The anion moves towards anode. Anode is a positive end of an electrolytic cell. It's a positive electron. Anion, which is already gained an electron. Anion is a Cl minus, for example. It gained an electron. It is electron rich. It moved towards electron deficient anode. It gives electron to the anode. It loses electron and it becomes neutral. So in a nutshell, a cation or anion moves towards their respective electrodes, where they will lose the electron or they will gain the electron. At the end of the day, finally become neutral atoms. This is the reaction which is happening at cathode and anode. We shall discuss this further detail in the future sections. So let's come to the electrolytes. It's a very simple classification. Electrolytes are the compound which allows electricity either in their molten or in their aqueous solution state. Generally, electrolytes are ionic compounds, and as a comparison, non-electrolytes are the one, they don't conduct electricity in the molten or solution state. Now it's clear to you, I think, what is molten or fused state. It is nothing but when you heat a compound, it becomes liquid, which is the molten state. A material which conduct electricity in those state is electrolyte, and which doesn't is a non-electrolyte. Generally, I'm stressing the word generally, electrolytes are ionic in nature, like NaCl, KCl, PbBr2, etc. And non-electrolytes are covalent in nature. For example, CH4, or even H2, O2, N2. I explained this, what is ionic and covalent compounds in the previous videos. I'll put the description in the site. You can go there, and if you are seen, you can revise it also. And we have seen this is electrolyte and non-electrolyte. Now, in an electrolyte, if an electrolyte is a strong one, we'll discuss this here. If the electrolyte is strong one, there will be only ions. That means if you have an NaCl, for example, NaCl has been completely converted into Na plus and Cl minus. Now, can you tell me which is cation and which is anion? Pause the video and think for yourself and tell me. Yes, this is cation and this is anion. This moves to cathode and this moves to anode. Perfect. Particles now in an electrolyte, ions can only be present if it is a strong electrolyte. We'll discuss this together. A strong electrolyte is a one when it is dissolved or it is in the molten state, which conducts electricity in very good manner or is a good conductor. And in a strong electrolyte, there will be only ions present. There will be no NaCl molecule left. Everything is converted into Na plus Cl minus ion. But there is another class of an electrolyte which is called as weak electrolyte. It conducts electricity poorly, not as good as strong electrolyte, and also when it is dissociated, there will be some amounts of starting material, that is the molecule, and some ions. For example, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide. Generally, I'm stressing the word generally, the elements belonging to second group 2 in a periodic table, remember, which is alkaline earth metal. The hydroxides of those alkaline earth metals will be weak electrolytes. That means when I take CaOH twice, dissolve it in water and pass an electric current, I will have both calcium hydroxide molecules and calcium 2 plus and OH minus ions. So a strong electrolyte contains mainly ions. Weak electrolyte contains molecules and ions. Molecules and ions, you can see this, and they contain only ions. And a non-electrolyte that contain only molecules because it does not broken down by passing electricity. For example, non-electrolytes are pure water, pure distilled water. There is no ions present in this. Alcohol, it's an organic system. Kerosene, carbon disulfide, etc. These all are organic systems, or also known as covalent systems. I think now the types of electrolyte and non-electrolytes clear to you. Let's see now what is an electrolytic cell. It's a device where you have an electrolyte, that is a electrolyte solution or a molten. You have electrodes. See, let's take this is electrolytic cell. We have solution of electrolyte or molten electrolyte, and we have electrode. We have kept the electrode here. It is these are electrodes. Okay, this may be one positive, one negative electrode, and a battery will be connected here. Okay. I have shown here. We have this image clearly shows a battery will be connected here, a positive and a negative electrode. This is a totally known as electrolytic cell, and these are electrodes. Electrodes are the one where from which the electric current enters. See, we are passing electric current to the solution, but from where it enters? It enters from cathode and anode. At one place it enters, here it enters, and here it leaves. It flows through here, completes the circuit. Hence, we have a flow of electricity. See, this is the definition. Electrode allows the electric current to enter and leave. There may be two types of electrodes. One is anode. We have seen this already. One is anode, it's a positive electrode, and a cathode is a negative electrode. Anode is the electrode connected to the positive end of the battery, and cathode is the negative end of the battery. Hence, anode is a positively charged. I have explained this previously. I'll repeat just. Anode is positively charged. Anions are negatively charged, and hence anions move towards anode. Negatively charged anions move towards anode, and they give electrons to the anode. Anions donate excess electrons to the anode, and they will be oxidized. You know, donation of electron is oxidation. Hence, anodes are also known as oxidizing electrodes. This is the example. You have a Cl minus. It gives an electron and becomes Cl neutral ion, and anodes are known as oxidizing electrode because they oxidize the anions. They make the anions to give up electron and become a neutral atom. But in turn, what happens to anode itself? Anode is oxidizing the negative anions. It is oxidizing anions by taking the electron from the anion. But anode itself, since it is taking the electron, anode itself is reducing. So anode undergo reduction, but it oxidizes the anion. Is it clear? The thing here is, we are the anion moves to anode. Anion loses electron or gives electrons to the anode. Hence, anode undergo oxidation. Hence, we call this electrode as oxidizing electrode because it oxidizes anion. It oxidizes anion. But in turn, anode takes up that electron. Since it is taking up the electron which is given by anion, it itself undergoing reduction. So the anode is an oxidizing electrode. Is it clear? Because it undergoes reduction. You have to understand this particular difference. Now we comes to cathode. Cathode is exactly opposite of the anode. It's a negative electrode. Hence, positive ions move towards it. The positive ions lacking electrons. They don't have electrons. They are cations. Hence, they take electron from the cathode. They're taking electron means cations undergo reduction. Cations will undergo reduction, whereas cathode is giving electrons to the cations, and cathode will undergo oxidation. Is it clear? Here two things we have to understand: which is giving electron, which is taking electron. Anything which is taking electron will undergo reduction. Anything which is giving electron undergoes oxidation. Here in cathode is giving electrons to the cations. Hence, cations undergo reduction. See, Na plus is a cation, takes an electron, undergoes reduction and becomes a neutral. Similar way, here anion is giving electrons to the anode. Is giving electron, hence it is oxidation. So anode we call oxidizing electrode. Cathode is a reducing electrode. I hope the difference between anode and cathode is clear. And ions we have seen in the previous chapters. We have cations and anions. Cations are formed by losing electron, and anions are formed by gaining electron. And where they migrate? Anions migrates to anode, cations migrates to cathode. And what happens there? Cations gains the electron and undergo reduction, and anions give up the electron at anode and becomes neutral. That's called as oxidation. I hope till now it's clear what is anode and what is cathode. So this is all about types of electrode and type of electrodes, type of electrolyte, and also how that process is happening, where they will move, and how the reaction happens. From the next class, we'll see the postulates of the mechanism, or the postulates of this theory. We call it Arrhenius theory, and we'll see the examples for different kind of electrolytic process. And also we'll see a term called as electrochemical series. Thank you. We'll see in the next class.